Okay, Z's on. Z, are you a believer? You have the mic if you want. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing today?
Yeah, doing good. What
Good.
about you?
I'm fine, thank you. Are you a believer in God?
Yeah, I do believe in God.
Okay, which God?
I'm Muslim.
Okay. Well, happy Ramadan.
Yeah, happy Ramadan.
All right, cool.
So why you
So,
don't believe in God?
well, why? The, I don't see good evidence for God. That's why I personally don't believe in God. Why do you believe in God?
Because if we think rationally, we come to conclusion that everything is so systematic, and I don't believe that it happened just accidentally.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why does it? Why? So why do you believe that Allah is the God that does that? Why can't there be gods above Allah? Why can't Allah be created and be a part of a
because
system
that
like
that
us?
create the problem of infinite regress. So,
It
like there
doesn't
will
if
be
it. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
like if that the condition, then it's polytheism kind of thing. So there will be god and another god and another god, and loop will go on, like it will never end. So everything in this world, it's contingent, so everything cause something. Yeah, like we create pan, and we are created by god and this earth and stuff. So there should be a necessary being who created this universe. And if we think rationally, we let's say there are two arguments that a well-designed cake is just made by accidentally. So I don't believe that it's more rational. The more rational is when you think that it created by designer. Like look at Tesla or any car like Mercedes. So there is a creator, and it's perfectly designed for its purpose. So I think, from my point of view, it's more rational to believe there is a designer rather than it just by accident.
Okay. You covered a lot there. Let me respond to some of to what I can. Um, First of all, if Allah is not the only God, say He's 10 levels down from the top God, that solves your problem of infinite regress. That's one issue. As far as perfect design goes, we don't see any perfect design anywhere in this universe, and especially not on this planet. So, I question a
Like, can
merciful,
you imagine?
excuse me, I question a merciful, loving God who makes, who creates the human race, and we have babies that have bone cancer, that type of thing. Our bodies are far from perfect. Our biological systems are far from perfect. So, um, and there is the problem of infinite regret. Let me ask you one question: does Allah exist outside of time?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's actually a logical fallacy. Um, Allah cannot
How?
create any because no one, no mind, no causal agent can create anything without the passage of time. They have to be inside of their own time in order to affect any change, because before change can be affected, you have a state before the change happens, you have a state after the change happens. So Allah cannot function outside of time. He needs his own time, and that just throws the infinite regress problem right back on
But
Allah.
Allah is not in this time. So you
So he's
understand what I'm
right.
saying?
He's
Like if
he's
let's say,
he's in his own time. Did he couldn't have invented his own time logically, because he had no time to initiate the creation of it, and he had no time to think about it before he created it.
yeah, so let's say if I create, if I'm a programmer or I create a game, so there will be like different I can add different things in it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like then what do you think, like how if the person is living in that game, or maybe it's like computed by AI or something like that, so what do you think, like will it will be the same scenario?
Well, I am a software developer, and before the software is
Oh,
created, there is a lot of time that passes. Right? So, I mean, I
I do
understand what you're
programming
saying, but
also.
I don't. Excuse me.
Yeah, I said I also do programming, so I know what you're saying, but that's not what happens.
Okay. Well, what do you think happened?
It,
What what
we
what
are
is what is
creating.
all it? What is all? Where did all his time come from? And
Where
why is
did
our time
almost,
different? And
because we don't know that it's not in our time zone.
so he's in.
So,
Okay.
so what do you think? Which is more rational? Is it to believe that there is a designer who created this whole system, universe, and planets, and we eat and we get food from Earth, and we breathe oxygen? There, like everything is so systematic. How? Like
Now, I don't believe that we are a good design. Okay. And first of all, in software, if we change one little bit of the program, it's some part of an executable file. If one bit gets flipped in an executable file, it's a ticking time bomb. We both know that as programmers, right? And our biological systems run on redundancy. Now, in the IT world, redundancy means just adding servers, right? So our system, like when we need an enzyme or something,
Mhm.
if the primary gene or place that it comes from, there's something wrong with it, it can grab it from somewhere else. And this is nothing different than having duplicated code libraries that are preserved throughout the lifetime of the project with and they're broken, they don't work, right? Whales have a scent gene that has long been broken and doesn't work, but it's still copied in the system. It's still, all the junk still stays there, and it's very error prone. We get cancer, we get sick. The universe seems like it's fine tuned to want to kill us when we look at the extinction events that we've had. And to me, so to answer your question, I think it's more reasonable to believe that there is something, whatever is behind the universe. Okay, if there is something behind the universe, I don't think it's rational to believe that that it's the Abrahamic God, Yahweh. I
Uh,
really
uh, uh,
don't.
uh, Okay,
I
so
really
like
don't.
imagine if our nose will be like on our backside, and eyes will be like to foots, and foots will be like on our head. So don't you
Well,
think is it like will it work?
why would we evolve that way? None of those are helpful traits, and that's
Yeah.
not how
So
evolution works
look
anyway.
at animals, look at everything, look at humans' brain. You're
But
saying
we
we
don't
are not the best
you're
creature.
you're giving
So like
examples that we don't see, like feet where our eyes are supposed to be and stuff like that. That's not how it would be. That's not how there would be if there was no God. Evolution doesn't work that way. Only mutations that ultimately benefit will help a population move on. Okay. So that's why we
yeah,
don't see that.
no.
That's one reason why we don't see feet sticking out of eyes and things like that.
No, you were saying we are not we are far from perfect creatures, yeah?
Yeah, we are. Our systems are very error prone and we all die.
Yeah, so like that's how we are designed. We can have diseases according to environmental changes. We can have like multiple things in our body due to maybe environment and food we are consuming and stuff like that. But that does not mean that we are not perfect. Like, show me any other creatures w- which are better than humans.
You're the one who said we were a perfect design. You were the one who said creation
Yeah,
is a
we
perfect
are.
design. How? Okay, you can't have it both ways. We get sick, we get cancer, and it's and we have and the diseases carry on. We have genetic diseases that we're born with. Okay, which means we have innocent people that haven't done anything getting born with deadly conditions. And how can you call that a perfect design?
Yeah, it's a perfect design because it's from their genetics. So it's not
Okay,
like
so this
every
so
human
we
is
get
created.
cancer, so we get cancer and everything, and that's a perfect design. And we have all
Yeah,
this, we
we
have
can
all
get
this
diseases.
broken
That's what I'm
code in
saying.
us, and that okay. Well, I don't know, I don't know what to say to you because that's not a perfect design in my
So
world.
don't you
And
think? Okay, don't you think like Mercedes or Tesla they are perfect design for cars?
they're as good as their engineers can get them. They're not perfect, but they're they're more reliable
Yeah,
than our
according to
human
their
bodies.
purpose,
They take
they
less
are doing
maintenance
those
than our
things.
human bodies. Excuse me.
No, I mean according to their design, according to their purpose, which they are designed for, are they fulfilling those purpose or not?
They're fulfilling those purpose, but they're not
Yeah,
perfect. So are you are
exactly.
you
So
backing are you backing off from the statement that we are a perfect design?
so okay. So if that car somehow get any problems in bunk or an engine or a tire got puncture or something like that, anything happen. So that means like it's not designed for its purpose.
No,
Means
that's
it's
not what
not
it
good enough.
means. No, then that's
Yeah.
not even the
So it's
point.
same.
The
It's same with
okay,
humans.
let hang on a second. Let's get back on topic. The topic of the show is God's existence. You think the universe is perfectly designed, our bodies are perfectly designed, and I disagree. I don't think it's rational to believe in
Then
so-called
like how?
merciful, loving gods who send people to hell for eternity for their finite crimes. I don't believe that being exists. I really don't. Okay,
Yeah,
and
because you got the
as a
free will.
Muslim, you do you believe in this Old Testament God Yahweh? Do you think Yahweh and Allah are the same God?
No, I believe in means I believe in Allah, but not Yahweh. It's different.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you guys are Abrahamic, but you throw you don't you're totally away from that. I'm
Yeah,
not.
because they think like Trinity problem again, like Jesus is God, then Holy Spirit, then there is like the other what we say, or what they call a Holy Spirit, Jesus, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's another one. I forgot the name. So yeah, we don't believe that. We believe there is one God, and we
Mm-hmm.
believe in monotheism.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Right.
a pure monotheism. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Does this God send people to hell for eternity?
Yeah, you got the free will in your earth and your time in this earth. So if you're gonna do crime, if you're gonna go rape, so obviously you're gonna go to hell.
Okay. Is your God all knowing?
Yeah,
Does he know everything that's going to happen?
yeah.
Okay. Does he
I know what you're
know?
gonna
Does
ask.
Yeah? I bet. I bet. So when you go to the store tomorrow and you decide what cut of meat you're going to buy at the store, or whatever you're going to buy, God already knows that. So how do you have free will to make a choice if God already knows? because you don't.
So all knowing does not mean that God control your free will. So let me explain how. So imagine if you have like you invented a time machine for now, for just sake of example, and you're telling your friend that I invented a time machine and I go for like 2 days or 3 days in future and I saw the future. Now they want to test you, yeah. So you are in a kind of house and they want to ask you like where you will your friends are asking that if you really see the future, tell us like where we gonna exit, which door we're gonna use. Like there are like maybe 5 doors, yeah. So let's say they choose five number door, and the friend of them like there's a box and he added there in like in what we say on paper he written and added the boss. And when they choose that 5 number the door to exit, that means they got the free will, but that friend, he knew that they're gonna choose that.
Okay, so before he started creating humans, he knew that billions of them were going to suffer eternally for their finite crimes. And that to me
Yeah,
is
because
okay. Well, that to me is absolutely detestable, man. Would you bring a litter of puppies into this world, knowing that half of them were going to face that? Would you do that? Hello.
hello, maybe your
Yeah.
connection.
No, I can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so you're telling me that God started out with creating the human race. Allah started out creating the human race, knowing that billions of them are going to wind up suffering eternally before he even started it. Okay, now if you had a dog and you knew that it had a genetic condition that it was going to cause a lifetime of pain and suffering to its offspring, are you going to let that dog mate and have puppies just so you could keep the one good one and let all the rest suffer? Do you not see how barbaric that is?
No, it's not like that. And I told you, all knowing does not mean it's a God gives you
I'm talking about the eternal suffering and how that's rational to
God
believe that
gives
that kind
you
of
free
being
will. Like
can
you're gonna
exist.
say, like if there are people, Israelis killing Palestinians, okay? So the Israelis, they have free will, okay? In on
Okay,
Judgment Day, they're
I'm gonna
gonna.
grant. No, I'm gonna grant you the free will part. Let's move on from the free will part and let's get on to the part where God initiates it all, knowing that there's going to be billions of souls suffering for eternity. What kind of loving, merciful God sets up a system like that?
Yeah, can you give mic to near this guy?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. You've been very polite. Please come back.